Be very careful on this edge, this rounded edge. You can really mess up some stuff, so go slowly. Okay. And keep on sewing to the other side and do the same thing on the flip side where the other curve is. Come out of there. Okay. There you go. So yeah. Okay. So let's zoom out here. Zoom out. Zoom out. Okay. So after we've sewn that, it should look like this. Go through the same process of cutting this to about 1/4 of an inch. Just kind of eyeball it. Don't cut it too close. If you cut the seam allowance in half, that should get you close enough. Can y'all see me cutting this? Nope. Oh, chat. Okay, flip it. Flip it, 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 flip it. Okay. Now it should look like this. Okay. Now, quick note. When you have to sew it to the body of the shirt, one of the sides you're going to sew first, and then the other side you're going to flip it up. So, what we're going to do to make this easy for us, we're going to take this, and hopefully you can see me, and we're going to just on one of the sides, whichever side is going to be on the outside, we're going to stitch a seam allowance, just a stay stitch on it. Okay. So I'll start here. Okay. Right there, and just stitch along the seam allowance. Okay, if y'all ain't realized by now, I like to press as I go. So, you know, if you don't think that's a good idea, then oh well. But I like to do it. Makes my stuff look, you know, like it comes out of the store, you know. So that's what we all want, right? Clothing that looks like clothing and not like school projects. So that's the point I want to bring everybody to, and we can do it. So, pressing as you go. Good tip. Do it. Love it, live it. Okay. Do that. Alright, and you can press it better after you've sewn it on. I wouldn't really worry about these edges too much, these rounded edges. You can press it now or you can press it later. It's not going to make a difference. So, but this part I wanted to go ahead and get out of the way. Okay. Okay, now it's time to connect the collar to the shirt. Okay. The first part we're going to do is to take the edge that we did not put a stay stitch on. We're going to take that edge and connect it to the inside of the shirt. You see, this is the outside where I did my top stitch, and this is the inside with the seam allowance. Okay. So we're going to connect it to the inside of the shirt because we're going to flip it, and this is going to be on the outside. Okay. So, please, 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 make sure you pin and kind of check yourself before you do this. Make sure it's on the right side. Make sure, you know, you don't have too much fullness in the collar and the shirt, because if you do, you need to kind of spread it out or even it out among the whole collar, because that's a big problem I have when I sew collars and shirts together. A lot of times, like the neck of the shirt will be humongous, and I'll have this itty bitty collar, and I'm like, really? If I cut these pieces out and they're supposed to fit, why is one bigger than the other? So, yeah, that's a problem that, you know, you kind of have to get through. One way that will help you is to make sure that you pin stuff. Please, please, please pin. So, and also, let's see, connecting this end, because that's what you're going to do, the end of the collar like this rounded end, where it ends should connect to the shirt that finishes, or the edge of the shirt that finishes. So we're going to connect this like this. We're going to connect that right on the same line. I hope you can see that. So we're going to kind of lay these right on top of each other. Okay? Pin it. And then come back and spread some of this fullness out. And do the same thing on the other end. Pin this where the collar ends. Oh, just in case you're wondering about the seam allowance. Oh, well, you can't tell on this one. On that side. On this side, I pinned the seam allowance to the side that I have the body of the shirt connected to. Okay. Okay, and this is one of those moments where it's not the shirt that comes out too big, it's the collar. Yay, collar's too big. So, not that we should be celebrating, but sometimes I feel like I could deal with the collar being a little bigger than I could deal with the shirt. At least with the collar you can kind of hide the fullness. If the shirt's too big, you're going to see all this extra craziness when you connect it. So move this down some. You see I have to play with this fullness. I have all this extra fullness in this sleeve. Oops. Pin the wrong part. But yeah, I have all this extra fullness in my collar. So I have to kind of spread it out. I don't know if you can see that. But the collar's kind of has my room, like all of this. It's extra. That's extra. And the collar. So I have to kind of play with it until it works out for me. So I unpin, move some of this fullness down. And as you can see, or might not be able to see, I'm kind of stretching a little bit too. If you take your scissors, this is another reason why it's better if the collar is slightly bigger rather than the shirt be slightly bigger. You can snip the neck. Oh my god, be careful. Please be careful. You can snip the neck of the shirt. Little snips. Little bitty snips. Just the edge of the what am I saying? Edge of the scissors. Little snips. You can actually give your collar a little more room, or not, your shirt a little more room to play with, because you're going to release this tension on the very edge of the collar, or of the shirt. I keep saying collar. Okay. And now it will give us a little more what we want. Okay. Once you get this like you want it, don't move the center. That's the only part you won't move. Don't move the center, and don't move the edge where it connects to the end. Okay? Everything in between you can kind of shift back and forth and it won't make a big deal. Or big difference. Okay? Once you kind of get one side like you want it, go ahead and sew that side down and then work on the other side. Okay? Okay. One more thing. I am sewing with the collar on the bottom and the shirt on the top, and that's because the collar is a little bigger. I can ease some of it in if the collar's on the bottom rather than if the shirt's on the bottom, and then I kind of have to push this fullness around, figure out what to do with it. Nope, just let the machine do it for you, and there'll be more lessons on easing and stuff like that later, but right now need to make sure this collar and this shirt get married all nice and pretty. You see this?